Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're going to be dyeing and waxing some traps. Here in Kentucky, the trapping season starts on November the 15th and ends February the 28th. So we're a few days late to the game. We have about 15 or 20 traps we're gonna wax and dye today. I have all Duke traps except for this one here. This is an old one I found on the riverbank. So I'm telling them where it come from or what kind of trap it is. It's a little foothold trap, a little single spring deal. I'm gonna dye and wax it for shits and giggles. I got all Duke traps. Like I said, I have 10 of the Duke 110 body hold traps. I have one 220 trap. I have two Duke number 3.5s, I think, or number 3. They're number 3s or 3.5s. They're offset foothold traps. I have some number 1s. And they're footholds. They're the double spring footholds. I also have 2 of the 1 3/4 footholds. We're going to be using odorless trap wax. Come from Fleming Outdoors or Fleming Traps. Also going to be using Logwood's trap dye. I've used half a package of the trap dye to about 2.5 gallons of water. I also have the water had leaves and walnut hulls in it, soaking overnight to 2 days. The traps, when I first got them, I'll pan over here and show you the traps. When I first got these, they had oil on them. So did the foothold traps. As you can see, the foothold traps was a little easier to clean. I sprayed them with brake parts cleaner, and they've been sitting about a year and a half outside. They got a pretty decent little coat of rust on them. These was not so easy to strip. I had sprayed them with brake parts cleaner, and when I sprayed them with brake parts cleaner, they certain parts of them come clean, and where the oil was thicker, they didn't rust. So last night I took them, put them down in this 5-gallon bucket, 2.5 gallons of white distilled vinegar, about 1/2 cup of Dawn dish soap. Filled the rest of the bucket up with water. I let them set overnight. Done a pretty good job of stripping them, I think. I hung them up here. They've been up here for about 1.5 to 2 hours. I sprayed them off real good. I'm letting them drip dry. As they're dripping dry, I have sprayed them twice. I've misted them real good with straight white distilled vinegar. And they are getting a thin coat of rust on them somewhat. They're turning orangish. The high carbon spring steel in the traps turn black. Hopefully they take dye. I ain't for sure. This is my first time doing this. It's the first year I've got into trapping. So when it comes to trapping, usually you can find these traps fairly cheap. I think that I give maybe $4 a piece for the 110s. I give $18 for the 220 and $6 or $7 a piece for the foothold traps. And obviously this one was a freebie, so altogether I'd say I've got close to $100 in them. Time you take the trap dye, the wax, the trap tags. Here in the state of Kentucky, you have to have your traps, has to have a tag, metal tag that has your name and address on it. Excuse me. Back here, we have a camp chef. It's a 2-burner. we have, like I said, probably 2.5 gallons of water. And this water is like if leaves set in water, they leach the tannins out. So I put leaves and walnut hulls, black walnut hulls. They've been soaking, like I said, about 2 days. The water was already good and dark, but I had half a bag of, that'd be a half a pound of trap dye. Stirred it up and bring it to a simmer. It's been on there about 10-15 minutes. I've been stirring it with an old stick, just an old piece of plywood trimming. You know, and I've been just stirring it up, and it's pretty dark. It looks like coffee. So when I think this has went long enough, I will take the traps and submerge them. It says to wait 1 hour, so that's what we're going to do. I'm going to take some old house wire and bundle the traps up, so I have something to pull them out of the water with while I have to stick my hand down in there. Also, you'll need a pair of rubber gloves. Trap dye will stain your hands, so will walnut hulls, as you can see. Excuse the background noise. It is a very rainy day. Kentucky has some pretty strange weather. Yesterday was at 75. Today we're at probably 45 and pouring rain. It's also currently the modern firearm season for whitetail deer here in Kentucky. And since it was a bad rainy day, I took today off to dye my traps. So I'll get back with you in a few minutes when the trap dye is ready. Alright guys, the trap dye has begun to simmer. So I went ahead and I submerged probably 7 or 8 of the 110s in there, and I'm going to take a pound of this here wax. I'm just going to go ahead and drop it in there. It says that you can't melt the wax over like straight on the fire. Like say if you had an empty pot and you put the trap wax in there, it says if you do that, the trap wax will actually burn. So we put the trap wax in with our water. The trap wax will melt, become a film on top of the water, and as we pull the traps up out of the water, it will coat the trap. So that's what we're going to do. On these foothold traps, I'm going to pry these open and put a stick of wood in there to kind of hold the jaws open, kind of like that. That way the inside of these jaws will get dyed. So I'll get back to you guys whenever I get ready to pull these out and show you how good they're dyed. See here, I went and cut a little piece of a poplar sapling, and I've cut it into little short pieces, and that way that the dye can get down and get around those jaws real good. We'll do all the foothold traps that way, even the offset one. That way the trap dye can get in there. These is how I got them strung together. I got one of each. That way we have plenty of room in the 5-gallon bucket. If I was to do this again, I would probably use a lot wider pot. It could be the same depth as a 5-gallon bucket, but it needs to be probably twice as wide so you can fit more traps in there. 7 of the 110s is about pushing it. So I'll get back with you guys when I just took the first batch of traps out. They look like they've took wax pretty good in the dye. I'll show you these. You see how dark they are. It turned up pretty good. You can see these wax. I don't know how good the wax got on the traps, but they look like they got a decent coating of wax. Might not be the best wax job ever, but You can see the color of these. This is what they look like before they went in. They don't look too great, but here they are, the dye. I think I waited about 45 minutes on those. I got the next batch in. I'd had these gloves on when I reached in and got the traps out. I didn't get nothing on me, but when I put the new traps in, there was a few little pieces stuck up out of the water, and I pushed them in with my gloved hand, and you can see it's quite a bit of brown, and all my fingers had a little coat of wax like that on there. So I'm assuming the traps got wax, but how much wax I don't know. If I had it to do over, I'd probably do the double boiler method, where you punch your wax in a double boiler and melt the wax, dip the traps, and hang them once you bring them out of the trap dye. We got 2 more batches of traps. We have I got the 220 and this little oddball foothold we're gonna do, and then actually we got 3 more sets, and then I got these here. Curious of how these gonna take dye, considering that those was nowhere near as much surface rust as these do. So we'll see. This batch here, where the wax is floating on top, I don't know how good they're going to turn out. So it's just kind of like a trial run. If they don't work, we'll let this cool down, take the wax off, heat it back up. Once we heat it up, we'll put our traps in, then put our wax on, and we'll try to do as many as possible in between there. Like I said, if you're going to do this for the first time, this is my first time, and I'm already learning that it's best, in my opinion, to do the double boiler method, where you would melt your wax in a double boiler, take the traps out of here, go straight into the double boiler, let them soak for probably 20-30 minutes in the wax, take them out and hang them, so, and let them dry. So I'll get back with you when these come out, and we'll see together how they look. Check these traps here. These was the ones, the second batch. They didn't take the dye as good. Some of them didn't, but it'd be good enough. Alright, so now I'm going to take and we'll hang these back up here, so let them dry. We're going to put some of these foothold traps in our necks. These here, I'll try them out. They got little pieces of wood in between them to keep them from, so the trap dye can get in between them, in between the jaws. We got this thing on low setting. I got the bucket kind of offset from the burner to kind of not let it be so hot, because it is on low. It's trying to do it a rolling boil. That ain't what we want. That's what I figured. Them ain't gonna fit. So I'll try to see how many I can get in there at one time. I don't think these will go. If they will, it'd be nice. Close enough. I'm going to turn this back up just a smidge. And scoot this barrel, this bucket back over here. Some more heat. You can see where I stuck my fingers down in there. We got plenty of wax, so hopefully that's enough wax on these traps here. The first ones I done on these here, they seem to be yeah, they got plenty of wax on them, I think. Yeah, they're pretty waxy. So you can see a lot of wax in the chain up here. There's a lot of wax in there. And you can see how dark these are. You can see some of the wax right here, but they're dark. These here, they're all right. Ain't the best dye job. A few little leaves stuck to here and there. That's from the leaves I had in the water boiling. But yeah, I think they'll work. Like I said, it'd be best to do the double baller deal on these, wax them and stuff. You guys stay tuned. After I get these traps waxed and stuff, I probably take them out and set them out tomorrow evening or tomorrow morning. I think we got a deer hunt planned, so y'all stay tuned for the video of when we set these traps out. Y'all have a good one. Y'all please like and subscribe, and come back and join us for the next video.